Hey fam, this is DeShuna Spencer, founder and CEO of kweliTV.
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Lil Rel Howery, head of comedy over at kweliTV.
So it's really interesting. Like, we've been working together for a couple of months, but this is our first time meeting in person. So great to see you face to face.
This is me sliding. This is what sliding the DM with you. A year of not seeing each other, but no, it's been a fun ride, and this is like special that you even sitting here. And one of the cool things, I guess I want the audience to know, but I know some of the answers to some of these questions. But what made you start kweliTV?
I started kweliTV because I just wanted to see myself represented in the media. As someone who's a journalist, I used to write a lot of depressing stories happening around the world, especially Black people getting shot. And it was very depressing to me, and I really wanted to do something that was empowering. I didn't want people to walk away, especially Black people, see themselves in seeing death and depression and Black trauma, but how can we use storytelling to celebrate, to be authentic, right? Because clearly means truth, so I tell people authentic doesn't mean always positive stories, but just authentic, truthful stories. That's basically what I was looking to see, and I didn't see it. Like any crazy entrepreneur, I was like, hey, I'm gonna start my own streaming service. I had no idea how I was gonna do it. I had no money. I didn't have any background in film and television. It was just me wanting to see myself. People kept saying, you need to have a celebrity that is a part of your team. And as someone who's not really connected to the industry, I was really honored when you reached out to me. So how did you find out about kweliTV?
Well, a lot of it had to do with quarantining, and I felt like I kept watching the same stuff, and I wanted to see just more Black anything. I got tired of watching it, literally reruns of stuff I've seen a million times. It was just randomly on Twitter, I saw the advertisement for it, right? And I'm like, what is this? And then I downloaded the app, and I just sat there and binged like a whole day or two watching documentaries, a lot of the shorts. And I was blown away by it. And this also was just crazy. I was, once quarantine was interesting for me because a lot of ideas I had started kind of forming it, you know what I'm saying? And I was like, I was literally like, I want a streaming service. I'm like, yeah, how you gonna do that? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how to start. What do a streaming service for? And, man, it was a blessing in disguise. I was surprised you responded to me when I hit you up. What you've created is so dope. But I did see though, I'm like, I can help with the comedy. I know that, and I've always thought of myself, I would love to be an executive. That was another thing too. It's like, all these television shows and things I've worked on over time. I've always been like, why they don't have experienced comedians run these studios that's head of comedy. Like, I had to pitch a show to somebody who never wrote a joke before. I don't know how they got the job to tell me what's funny. And I always thought that was weird. So to actually be somebody that's into comedy, that knows comedy, and you let me help curate a channel and pick the content, I think is kind of brilliant and game changer.
And we needed a lot of help in comedy. We had some comedy there. It was we had no comedy, but documentaries as a journalist, that was my really strong point, but not so much with comedy. And so when you took on this position, how did you see yourself playing a role beyond just being an executive?
Well, it's more or less, I wanted to help bring attention to kweliTV. I think you do have you have a great following, but I wanted more people to pay attention to it, and what comedy was going on in the comedy world in general, in this business in Hollywood, it's just not a lot of spaces for a lot of Black comedians. So they're creating all this content, and it's not on a lot of the networks. It's weird what they do with our shows. Even when I look at award shows sometimes, and I look at who's nominated, and I'm like, wait, so you don't have shows like The South Side, and that's really hilarious, but they're not getting the same look, and then they're nominated shows like these, the ratings don't even be high on those shows. They're like, what is this show? Why, so I think what, the brilliance of kweliTV is just creating a space for content creators from all over the world, comics. I mean, the stuff we get from other countries, And you know, even for them to be able to film it with whatever budget they got, like it's fascinating.
Yeah, the brother from Tanzania, like we spoke with him personally, and you can tell just from where he lived, he might not have the most money, but the video quality was like 100% perfect.
These are people who never really, they taught themselves to animate.
The Matabila's Zul.
Zul is so interesting watching his progression since he came to kweliTV.
Right, he's posting things all the time. He does like 80% of the voice characters, taught himself animation. And that's why I started kweliTV, giving people like it a chance, because unfortunately, at least right now, the networks are focusing on recycling, at least in my opinion, the same people. I think you mentioned one time, I forgot where we were, like a 50-year-old person playing like a 25-year-old looking for love. But like with us, like we're actually bringing in new talent that people have never seen before, and it's really exciting for me.
That's what's been great though. You know, I think from like, you know, we got like sci-fi comedies, and like it's been like crazy how the range of comedy it is. Because sometimes, you know, we sit and we look at stuff. I always think it's funny to see what you think is funny. Because like, you're like, that ain't funny, man. I'm like, what? You don't get it.
I'm wrong sometimes though. I am wrong sometimes. But I'm not a funny person. But you have that eye. Like I'm overly critical sometimes because of our mission.
Yeah.
And I think having you on board actually loosens me up a bit to try new projects.
Well, what you've done, and just real quick, what I love that you actually taught me in a way where like, in a way, everything can't be funny. You know, it is certain images that we want to put out there, especially about black people, and there's certain stereotypes we don't necessarily want to play into. So that's one of the things I learned. Okay, like but as a comic, right, we go. Like I don't think about sometimes the consequences of stuff. You're just gonna do it. If it's funny, it's funny. But I think what I love about you is, and what I love about kweliTV, it did make me question like, what should we be putting out there and what shouldn't we be putting out there? You know what I'm saying? So I mean, I know that's intentional. Like, how do you get most of the content? Everybody just sends stuff there, like stuff, especially like the documentaries and all that stuff. How did that even start? How did you just go finding people? How did you get the content at first?
So when I initially started kweliTV, I didn't know how to find content. I didn't know anything about licensing. And so initially I tried to go the film festival route. So I had like a list of all the black film festivals from around the world, emailed them like, hi, I'm DeShuna Spencer. Like, my name is, like some little dear John letter. And no one got back to me, like not one. And so I was like, okay, so I won't be able to find them that way. And so I ended up just contacting the filmmakers, like literally one by one, like individually, going to the various film festival websites, finding the content creators. As a former journalist, I can find almost anyone's email address except for like Obama and Oprah. But now maybe I can't. Look, I know I can't. I'm just But and I just email people, just cold email people, say, hey, I have this ideal for the streaming service. I know you don't know me from Adam, but I want to work with you. And I just start having conversations one-on-one with filmmakers saying, hey, I have this idea. What do you think about it? And people are like, this is amazing. I'm working with someone else. It hasn't really worked out. And when we launched our beta, we had like 38 filmmakers who were brave enough to give me their content. And that's kind of how we got started, just me pounding the pavement, reaching out to people one by one. And I would say that for about 80% of the content on kweliTV, that's how we still find it. Seriously, mine is like your content and the content from the submissions. I mean, some's really great, and then some bits like needs a little work. But for me, it's totally curated. I really get excited. I see independent films like, oh my God, this is beautiful. I want this film, and I do what I can to find a filmmaker.
I mean, it's some beautiful films on kweliTV. And it's so interesting, like, because I like a lot of the stuff. I really love the documentaries. I think that's my personal favorite section of kweli, because I love documentaries. But you have some really good documentaries on there. I mean, look, to level this up, what do you think is required for us to take it to another level? What do you think we need, really?
So of course funding, so that's why I'm really excited about this race with Republic. As a black female founder, we all know the disparities that not just I have, but most black women trying to raise money. And so having more money to be able to create original programming would be like number one. I have all these ideas, we talk about ideals as well and what we can do with raising money, so that's number one. A lot of people don't know, but I am kweliTV's only staff member, from Keisha, who handles customer service, to finding content. And while it sounds brave, it's not a sustainable thing to do. So I'm really excited to hire people who I can collaborate with, because I think, it's my business, it's my mastermind, but I think that in order for a business to grow successfully, you need other people also with a vision to make it even more a reality. So I'm excited about creating original programming. I have this real big vision. I tell people, like, why can't Black people have the Walt Disney? Like, why 100 years from now, we're all dead and gone? Like, it's still here. There's always these different components to kweliTV. Like, that's my vision, this global entity that's all about celebrating and streaming Black excellence.
I truly think we're gonna get there too. I mean, that's, one of the cool things is that you can actually learn from Netflix, is that they was able to create a studio without ever physically buying one. You know what I mean? So like, so it's something really interesting. I feel like we kind of under the radar in a way.
I think it's great, like, you're able to have a film on Netflix and HBO Max, all those other platforms, but I think it's just as important for Black people to actually own a media company, and not all at the top, not just say, oh, this person is, director, this, the manager. Like, no, they're the CEO, they're COO, they're at the top in all levels.
A lot of times, especially if you're an entertainer, they want to put you in a box. It's like, no, I want to do whatever I want to. And like, that's one of the reasons, even like outside of this, I've never really taken a first look deal or any of that stuff, because I want to be able to work wherever I want to work. Wherever my stuff is at is where it's at. And then like, with kweliTV, my dream, and I know we got the same dream, is to just literally make original stuff. And I think what's cool about it, I think our cheat code is, we already know all these amazing filmmakers and content creators. If we able to get the funding to make some really original content, it's gonna be crazy good. We already got the people lined up to do it with. So that's why y'all need to give us some money. Invest in us. And I mean us, not us, I mean us, all of us. Y'all looking at this. This is a way to invest into us and making the stuff we wanna see. And I believe, like, you put us in position to do that, we gonna give y'all the best. Promise you that. I really believe that. Like,
yeah. And the thing is, like, people always say, oh yeah, if I could invest in this company back in the day, where I would be like, you can actually invest in a Black-owned company. You can subscribe to the company and actually own a piece of it. And that's what I'm really excited about. Like, people can watch something and say, I own a piece of this. They watch the movie and like, this is my company. I own stock in that. And I think that's a really amazing thing, especially for our community. I think we need to create more Black wealth. And that's another component of kweliTV, is being able to build wealth for others.
Yeah, this is a great investment into generational wealth. And that's how y'all should look at it. If this is about time as Black people, we start focusing on generational wealth and not the right now wealth. Which it ain't wealth, it's the right now. You just right now rich. Right now rich, brother. I'm about to put that on a t-shirt, right now rich.
But
all right.
This has been a really great conversation.
Yeah.
Again, this has been an honor to have you on board as head of comedy, and I'm just looking forward to know where we take this next.
And thank you for having me.